Yeah.
Uh, but I did Vipassana. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the regimen with Vipassana. This was my third time that I did 10-day Vipassana. It was from the 6th of September to the 17th of September. And anybody who's done Vipassana, hi Ankit. Yeah, wonderful. So there are friends who've done it. My last attempt at Vipassana was 8.5 years back, and I was very reluctant to go back because at the time that I had done my first Vipassana was just about a year or two before that, and I struggled through the 10 days, but I got through the 10 days. But it was a real struggle. The second attempt, I actually quit after about 3 days. And that is about 8-9 years back. But in the last 9 years, I had been doing a lot of work on myself and a lot of inner child work and a lot of, breath work. And so this time I spent 10 days in Vipassana and I didn't feel like coming back. I was feeling like this is the most beautiful 10 days. You have no contact with the outside world. For those who are not familiar, you don't even make, so not a question of phone or computer, but you don't even have writing material or reading material. You don't read or write while you are going through that experience. You don't make eye contact with anybody. There are no gestures, no speaking. So literally at the end of the 10th day, the feeling is, do I still know how to speak the language? Or, I haven't used words. And I felt a certain level of bliss, and I was wondering, why am I not feeling the isolation and the fear that I would have felt 10 years back or 9 years back when I did it and I quit. And I realized that when it was done without clearing the inner stuff through the workshops and through the, constellation and inner child work and all of that, when it was done without clearing all that, that stuff surfaced and the fears surfaced, etc. Whereas this time it was so much easier because of the 8-9 years of self-work. But what I took back from those, and I'll give it to you in 3 or 4 key points, and then we really end this. The whole idea of cravings and aversion. The whole idea of cravings and aversion and how we live our lives either craving for certain feelings, certain sensations, certain emotions, certain outcomes, or we are averse to certain things happening. And this is also in Hindi, rag and dvesh. Craving is rag and aversion is dvesh. And we hear a lot of stuff about rag and dvesh in Hindi. But basically, Buddha's technique was to watch the sensations on the body. Vipassana is essentially becoming a watcher, becoming like a watchman, watching through the sensation. Like you get a sensation on your nose and you feel like scratching your nose, right? Your craving is to scratch the nose because it's itchy. But when you don't scratch the nose, you do not fall for that urge to scratch the nose. You find that after some time, that need to scratch the nose goes away automatically without doing anything, without using your finger to scratch the nose. So when I did it the first 2 times, I didn't really look at this deeply enough. And so I realized that if I did not react to my craving, or I did not resist, I was not averse to the itchy feeling on the nose, it came and went. A lot of things in our lives come and go. Anger will come and go. It will not stay forever. Frustration will come and go. Even we fall in, we fall in love and fall out of love in certain situations. Everything is impermanent. Anicca, constantly changing. The body is changed already 100 times since morning. We're not the same body from the time we were born, but because the time we were born, there's a long gap, we feel, oh, we changed since we were born. No, we even changed when this meeting started, and by the time this meeting ends, we would have changed completely. So the learning of anicca or impermanence, that everything that comes is happening to us is impermanent. I always understood theoretically Buddha's message, this too shall pass. But what I left Vipassana with was that we don't, what we really need to go beyond is elation. Such a high. I'm so high. I'm so happy. I'm the happiest in the world today. I'm craving for this kind of sensation. Absolute elation or absolute depression. I'm so sad. I'm so broken. I'm so exhausted. And when we oscillate, whenever there is rag, there will be dvesh. Whenever there is craving, we will encounter aversion. So it is not that we will have aversion only if aversion comes with craving. And Buddha's message was to actually watch the impermanent nature by looking at your body. Throughout your body, you have sensations, etc. So I actually learned something there, which I felt it was so beautiful. This scratchy, itchy nose actually is giving a message of anicca or impermanence. Everything is changing. And this feeling that I want to itch will also go away. That if I don't react. Now, I felt after 6 days, and I went to the teacher there and I said, does it mean that I must not be happy when something good happens in life? Should there be no juice in life, no ras in life? Why would I not want to be elated? Why would I not want to be, wow? He said, actually, when we embrace impermanence, when we embrace that everything will change, we practice detached attachment. So when something good happens, we can fully enjoy it without going crazy. And when something not so good happens, something that is not pleasant happens, we let it pass without becoming depressed or angry or upset. We do not, the word in Hindi they use is, Goyanka ji uses is vyakul. We don't experience misery when we go beyond our cravings and our aversions. When we go beyond rag and dvesh, that we save ourselves from misery. And the first message of Buddha when he got enlightened was, dukh hai. When we come in this body, there is going to be pain, there is going to be misery. But the second message was, dukh ka nivaran hai, that there is a solution to this misery. And the next words were that I found that solution. And I will share that solution with you. For thousands of years now, this work that Buddha did was really, I found the door to nirvana, he said. And the door to nirvana was to sit in that middle point, to sit beyond your cravings and aversions, beyond rag and dvesh, in the middle, knowing that the rag and dvesh or the cravings and aversions are impermanent. And to actually maintain what is called samatha or balance or equanimity through periods of our life when we experience great happiness and where we experience what could be absolute misery and sadness. I had a lot of fear of losing loved ones, particularly, Dr. Preeti, she is so dear to me, and I always had this, I had these odd thoughts that would randomly come about what will I do in life without a particular person, and I realized that they were all coming from certain craving. When I crave for my wife, or I am averse to my wife, or I crave for an object, or I'm averse to an object, I crave for an experience, or I'm averse to an experience, I crave for an emotion, or I'm averse to an emotion. For example, sadness. When I'm not averse to being sad and I'm not craving to be happy, I will realize in the process that the sadness is also impermanent and the happiness is also impermanent. And that beyond that is bliss. Beyond that is a life where I will not feel misery, where I will not be constantly waiting for something to happen. And so equanimity, samatha, balance, living beyond cravings and aversions, and completely acknowledging the impermanence. This body that I have, that you have, is not permanent. This body will not, it has a certain life. This body is not the same body that I was born with. I was born very little, tiny. That body that I was born with is already dead. Those cells have all died. There are new cells. The body that I had yesterday is already gone. This body that I am in today is already, he used, Goyankaji uses a Berkeley scientist, that we are filled with, every particle is changing inside us. Everything around us is changing. Every moment, everything is changing. And the moment we embrace that, we embrace impermanence, we are no longer craving or averse. Difficult situations in life become okay. We become okay with them. Very good situations, so-called, we don't define them and we are not craving for them. And we can go beyond our misery. So I will stop here. Every time you feel like you have an itchy nose, just think about it. Just wait and see if you don't scratch it, what happens in 3 minutes or 5 minutes. And I would strongly recommend that all of us try. You don't need to go to a 10-day camp and necessarily, but if you can, you must try Vipassana. But Vipassana with a combination of inner work. Because when I went to Vipassana without healing my own inner traumas, I struggled. Now, when I went to Vipassana, having dealt with my inner child wounds, having done all of that work over the last 8, 9 years, it became so much easier. I was okay with being with myself. I was okay with, earlier that isolation was very traumatic because that little child felt that isolation. Now that little child feels safe. So now when I am alone, I am not feeling I'm isolated. I'm feeling the joy and the bliss of my own presence. And so I would encourage all of us, if you get a chance, practice it. But please keep doing your inner work. Do not miss an opportunity to read, to meditate, and to be with a sangha, to be with a group of like-minded people like this. So the AHA alumni group, we will post some stuff every morning or every alternate day. We'll send you some voice notes. When I'm on the street, sometimes there is an insight. I'll just record. Preeti will record. We'll send you 1 minute recording of what is happening. So that way, we can stay connected. And please come to every workshop. We have done all the workshops four times ourselves. 6 day workshops we have done with Dr. Newton, Dr. Lakshmi multiple times. So please don't lose the opportunity. Some workshops cannot be done virtually, but now most of our workshops will be hybrid. Radiant Relationships is happening this month. It can be done hybrid. Inner Child cannot be done hybrid. Family Constellation cannot be done hybrid. But many other workshops you can attend virtually also. Nothing like being in person, but definitely not worth missing if you are not able to come physically, except for those 2 workshops that you need to absolutely be there in person. So I'll stop there. Thank you, everybody.